Thurber House is charged with preserving the legacy of James Thurber, who is known during his lifetime as the best humorist since Mark Twain. It is an impressive legacy of humor, sardonic wit, and brilliant rudimentary cartoons that say, well, pretty much everything. He perfectly captured the follies of men, women, and human nature, and he captured the comforting innocence and stoic wisdom of animals, especially dogs. His work is timeless, and his observations are relevant still today.
This year, as we commemorate our 35th anniversary of Thurber House and the 125th birthday of James Thurber, we seek to expand our reach to promote the extraordinary work of accomplished authors, 3 of whom are finalists for this year's Thurber Prize for American Humor. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Thurber Prize for American Humor finalists for 2019, Sloane Crosley, John Kenny, and Simon Rich.
Sloane is the author of the New York Times best-selling essay collection, I Was Told There'd Be Cake, a finalist for the Thurber Prize for American Humor. That's where we are tonight. And How Did You Get This Number, as well as Look Alive Out There, which is her latest, and the best-selling novel, The Clasp. Please welcome Sloane Crosley.
Thank you. So I am going to read from a part of Look Alive Out There, which I actually don't normally read from because I sort of have to extract it like fiction. I can't read you the whole essay. It's way too long. And it's about some very rowdy teenage neighbors that I actually still have. It's a bit of a lie that the essay's in the past tense. So I moved from Chelsea in New York, where I was living in an illegal sublet, and moved down to this really microscopic but beautiful apartment in the very swanky West Village, where I looked out at the single family owned brownstone that someone owned, and that was the only view that I had. But it was like, and is like, just an enchanted treehouse, basically. And then it becomes not like that. So this is what I call the mother of all noise complaint essays. And then one day the leaves dropped and Jared came out. Jared lived in the townhouse directly behind my apartment. He must have been on summer vacation or touring Europe by colonial rickshaw when I moved in. Jared was between 15 and 18 years of age. It was impossible to tell. I could never get a good read on his height, as his resting state was slouched in a lawn chair, watching viral videos on his phone at full volume. How do I begin to explain my relationship with this creature? Is it a relationship if you've never met? Certainly this is an acceptable dynamic online, but played out in real life, it's called stalking. All 5 of the windows in my apartment face Jared's house, and for as many years I heard every word this kid said. I would like to tell you that his woes were typical of his age bracket: unrequited crushes, parental oppression, social strife. But Jared had no woes. Plato advised us to be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle, but I am here to tell you that I have witnessed Plato's exception. Lest you think I don't know what I signed up for by living on the most densely populated slip of land in America, rest assured that I do. There are sounds one learns to accept, even to be lulled by on occasion. Jackhammers that emerge seasonally and peck at the concrete like oversized woodpeckers. Screaming matches that make you grateful you're not one of the 2 people in that relationship. I have lived over DJs, newborn babies, sheet metal sculptors, and ping pong patios. They say smell is the strongest trigger of memory, but let us not underestimate the bone-chilling power of sound. The sound of cigarettes being packed against a table, the sound of tracks being skipped, the sound of a porch door banging. These were the harbingers, the sounds of my torturers clearing their throats. Sometimes Jared would leave the music on after he left, a tactic generally employed by war criminals. I remember with a haunting clarity lying in bed one night and being kept conscious by Biggie Smalls when the mother screamed Jared's name. My heart fluttered. Finally, an adult, an authority figure, a savior with her finger on the allowance button. Jared, she shrieked, where'd you put the corkscrew? The woman who lived in the apartment next to mine did not have the box seats I did, but she did have a 4-month-old baby. I asked her if the people in the back ever bothered her. "Oh, you mean Jared?" she groaned. When we moved in, he was still a little kid. I thought he was so cute playing in the backyard, but you know what they say about tiger cubs. What do they say? Don't adopt tiger cubs. And then it gets worse. Thank you.
James Kenny, in his collection Love Poems for Married People, advises against showering with your partner after the earliest years of your relationships. What was adorable becomes annoying, and everything tends to fall anyway. Kenny writes about married life with kindness, with love, and just a touch of the vicious. James' novel Truth in Advertising, which won the Thurber Prize for American Humor. He has worked for many years as a copywriter. He has also been a contributor to The New Yorker since 1999. He was a 2014 Thurber Prize winner for his book, Truth in Advertising. He was the host of the 2018 and 2017 Thurber Book Awards. What we're doing tonight, please welcome all love, James Kenny.
Thank you so much, and good evening, and thank you for being here. My name is John Kenny. I'm not in control of the evening, as the host usually is. Knowing beforehand, for example, the names of the people. I would be remiss if I did not thank a few people who are here tonight. Ann Tubble and her team, Lori Lathan, Meg Brown, Leah Wharton, Elizabeth Falter, Kelly Zwink, Yvette Boyer, Josh McClurg, Genevieve, and Barbie Tootle, all of whom, I think, do so much to keep alive the mission of the Thurgood Marshall House. I think he was, without a doubt, the funniest Supreme Court justice. Just wanted to check on my name. I thought I might read a few poems, is a sentence no one ever wants to hear. This is called Our Love. Our love is like the padlocks on the Pont des Arts in Paris. Thousands of locks, symbols of unbreakable love. Isn't that beautiful? Apparently, though, all those locks are too heavy for the bridge. Did you hear this? I read it somewhere. The locks are weighing the bridge down. So you know what they're going to do? They're going to take them off with bolt cutters and throw them in the trash. Isn't that beautiful too? So now the people aren't locked together anymore. They're free to maybe see other people. I thought that was interesting. This is called Why Are You in the Shower with Me? I should emphasize these are fiction. I don't draw from my own life. Why are you in the shower with me? Did the bathtub shrink? I ask because here we are, naked, showering together like we once did all the time. Remember, at the beginning, we would stand and talk, seals slipping by one another, a playful ease letting the other into the stream. Now, I'm not sure what you're doing in here. I'm freezing. There's shampoo stinging my eyes. You just stepped on my foot. For the love of Christ, who flushed the toilet? Because I'm being scalded alive. Get out now. It was a nice idea, though, honey. Could you close the door? going to read 15 or 20 more. This is called Yogurt. You went to Trader Joe's and took the kids so I could do a work call. You bought the week's shopping, and my call was canceled. So I scrolled around YouTube. I don't really know where the 3 hours went, though maybe I napped. I'll tell you what I didn't do. I didn't unload the dishwasher, like you asked, or switch the laundry, or call the plumber, or that other thing that you asked that I forgot. And now, watching you put away the groceries, surveying all that you've done for us today, I feel the need to thank you. Well, more of a question than a thanks. And granted, the tone of it isn't great. And from your expression, I know now that I'm But seriously, how did you forget the yogurt? Thank you.
The writing of Simon Rich puts dinosaurs in the boardroom. He interviews Hitler over a plate of crudité and follows the adventures of a monk who was determined to chop off his own hands. Simon was the youngest writer for Saturday Night Live, am I right? Yes? He wrote for The Simpsons. After graduating from Harvard, he wrote for Saturday Night Live for 4 years, and then he departed to work as a staff writer for Pixar. He is a 2008 Thurber Prize finalist for his book Ant Farm, and his new collection is a hoot. Please welcome Simon Rich.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. This is a great honor for me because I've been a fan of Thurber for my entire writing career, and my favorite Thurber stories were always the ones about animals. And so I'm going to read one of my Thurber ripoff pieces. This is a memoir told from the perspective of a horse. It's called Riding Solo, the Otzi Story. Growing up horse, I do not expect much from life. My 10 older brothers all end up in stable. My sisters become glue. When I am small, my father run off. That is not figure of speech. One day for real, he just run into woods out of nowhere. Everyone is like, whoa, that crazy. Around this time, I meet Human. His name Paul Revere. He was not big star then. He was just regular guy from Boston. Laid back, funny, easy to carry. We become close and tell our secrets. Turns out we both have same dream, to make big mark on world. One night when moon is up, we make pact. If one of us make it, we both make it. Together, there is no stopping us. Then one day we see British coming, and I am like, this is it. This is our chance. We can ride to town and tell people British are coming, and it will be like this big thing. So then I carry him through brambles for hours, and he shouts, the British are coming. And next thing we know, everyone is cheering, and I neigh at Paul like, told you so. So Army guy says, okay, now you meet John Hancock and Sam Adams. And I am like, whoa, this is big time. But when we are walking to Meeting House, something strange happens. Paul ties me to post. And I'm like, why not me go inside with you? And he is like, well, you do not have tie and blazer, and also you are horse. And I'm like, huh, this weird. So after that, Paul become this big shot. Poem come out about him, and it is made into famous etching. And meanwhile, I unemployed. Everyone says, you must be bitter. Paul Revere is big famous icon, and your legs are failing, and soon you will be glue. Probably within a few hours, because you are in cage at the glue factory, and they are doing you like pretty soon. But anger is like Salt Lick. Every day it shrink and shrink, and I think that when I die, my last thought will not be Paul's betrayal. It will be that moonlit night, that ride through the brambles, the feeling of wind in my mane as I surge through the air like bird. For a moment, I was happy. I was free. Thank you.
Well, now for the moment that you've all been waiting for.
Together? Okay.
The winner of the
2019 Thurber Prize for American Humor is Simon
Rich.
Rich. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. This really means the world to me. Thurber is such a big influence on my writing, and has been. I read a horse story here, and the other one that they mentioned it was called Ant Farm. The trick of writing about animals is just a straight up rip off of some of my favorite Thurber pieces. The trick of coming up with high stakes visceral metaphors to describe the dumbest, most trivial aspects of everyday life is again just something I stole from Thurber. And so Thurber inspired me both by his posthumous recommendations and also by the work itself. So even before this night, I feel really indebted to Thurber, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm such fans of the other people nominated and also the judges. And the last thing I want to do is just thank my wife, Kathleen, who's over there. Thank you, Kathleen, and thanks to all of you. I really appreciate this.